go. I got to lean in.
What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday night. Welcome to the Real Housewives of Miami recap right here on The Lean. We see we've got some viewers already in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As you can see, your favorite New York City panel is back and reunited in the city of Miami. We've got Shantae and Love. Shantae, you had a week off. You had some family visiting. How is it to have your house a little bit quieter? I mean, you've got kids, so not as quiet as possible.
No, because everybody and their mama birthday is this week in my family, so it's a little less busy. But starting tomorrow, I'm gonna have like 11 birthdays. So pray
you will
for
never
me.
know peace.
Yeah.
You will never know peace. Well, it's good to have you back, Love. Hello, happy Thursday. How are you, ma'am?
Hello, my lovelies. How are you?
I am here. We are here. I've got my little cocky ready to recap this episode. It was a wild ride. I know that last week we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I know that whenever you guys first came on, we had talked about how much we really enjoyed Miami and the reboot, and we think that they did the reboot right. And this season and this episode in particular just kind of kept right on with that trend. Like, they really have the perfect mixture of girls, the perfect mixture of new and of old. And I know there's been a lot of talk about rebooting, recasting certain franchises. And I know that, a lot of us would be sad to see some of our faves go. But honestly, to keep stuff fresh, to give stuff new life, sometimes reboots or recasts are necessary. And Miami is a shining example of what can happen when you really get a mix of girls that all show up to come to work, that all get along and are there for a common goal. So I'm happy to have you guys here recapping this with me. So let's go ahead and let's jump right on it. I see that we've got April already in the chat. April showed up at 6:56. Ready to hop in and mix it up. Hi, April. We've got MJ. We got the boss Cortez. How are you doing, everybody? We've got a couple of other viewers in there. So please, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to our channel so you can get updates on everything. We've said this before for the past couple of weeks. Our schedule is jam-packed going into the holidays. Everybody you see here is sitting on at least 2 or 3 other panels recapping your favorite shows. So please, please, please follow us at our social media handles that you see there. Follow us on the other channels and get your daily dose and your daily fix of pop culture and housewife gossip. So we start off with Nicole. And her little boy is so precious, like so well behaved, like so well mannered, just sitting there eating his ice cream. And every time we see him, he very much is that. And I can't help but think of that scene last season where Lisa's kids were running crazy at their little play date, and then the daughter slapped the crap out of Lisa. I'm like, my God, my God, it's like night and day. But the little boy is so cute. They're having ice cream, and Lisa calls Gertie. As we saw at the end of last week's episode, Gertie left the party. There was a little bit of some drama. The ladies kind of knew something is up. As we know, she told Nicole earlier in that episode, she found a mass during a routine biopsy or routine mammogram. They were doing some biopsies. And as of last week at the end, she had got the results back of that biopsy. Nicole could tell something was wrong with Gertie and wants to kind of get her together in a safe space to be able just to check in on her friend. And you can tell that Nicole and Gertie have a genuine friendship, just the way that they interact with each other, the way that Nicole checks in on her, the way that they, their energy is around each other. This is one of the things that I really liked about the newbies. They all came like kind of a united force. And kind of wanted to navigate the waters together, and they all have kind of done that and stuck together.
And they add Adriana to their group.
They add Adriana.
Adriana.
Oh, Adriana. We'll get to her because, my God, she plays with the new girls and she plays with the old girls. So she says that she wants to invite Gertie and Adriana and Julia to a champagne and oysters brunch, just as kind of a way for them just to check in on each other. Meanwhile, we see Lisa and Adriana tour Lisa's new boyfriend, Jody's new home, which just happens to be Adriana's old home from way back in the day. The home has received a modern update, and Adriana notes that back when she lived there, the home was a little more bohemian and now it's a little more modern. One of the things that I will say that I loved about Adriana's old home was the terracotta flooring and all the Spanish tiling that ran throughout. I was absolutely obsessed with it. So it's kind of sad to see him replace everything with marble, but all of his decor designs, even she said, she goes, that was the style back in Miami then, and now everything kind of reflects what Miami's going through. It's a very modern, sleek design. The house looks really nice, but you could see Adriana kind of going through every single room with like a fine-tooth white glove. Like, this isn't how I had it. This looks different when I lived here. Her and Lisa are kind of reminiscing. They're recalling back in the first series how Adriana burned her wedding dress in the backyard. She had her bachelorette party. And it just kind of reminds you that, like, yeah, these ladies have been around for a while. They may not have been on the TV this whole time, but it's really cool to see flashback episodes that happened like a decade before. And it kind of reminds you like, oh, crap, this is kind of a reboot, because there are times that I'm watching that I forget, like, these are new girls that mix with OGs, but it's all kind of seamless. She ends this little package by saying, who knows, in the future, I may be married to Brad Pitt and living in Lisa's old house. A girl can dream. So, Shantae, what did you think of this little intro package that we saw of everybody so far?
I really loved it.
And does your kid well behaved eating ice cream like this?
Well, my kid doesn't like dairy, so he's not that into ice cream yet, no. But I definitely loved seeing Lisa being there for Gertie, because Gertie got my heart this whole season. Since she announced, her health issues, I am so happy to see the girls rally around her. And that's one of the most beautiful things about Miami. These girls are real friends, unlike in other casts, and they really ride for each other when it's important. You saw it when Lisa was getting the divorce. They're like, let's call the police, when she was telling them that there was someone in their house. And with Gertie, it's the same thing, except for Larsa, who we'll talk about in a little way. But I love how, Lisa, Nicole has Gertie's back. And I did think that Adriana looking at all the changes in the house was fun, because we got the flashback. And we got to put respect on Adriana's name. I don't know why she don't have, what is it? Is it a flamenco?
Mojito?
Whatever. Mojito,
Not a flamingo.
whatever.
A flamingo.
I don't know what it is, but she needed, because she carries a lot of the drama and the fun of the show, because she can't help herself, so I love seeing Adriana, and of course Jody being willing to keep the other Lisa off the street, because I guess if Lenny had his way, she wouldn't have nothing. But I definitely want them to put some respect on Adriana's name. I want her to have her mojito or flamingo or whatever. That's my thought. Yeah.
Give her whatever.
Yes.
Love, did you watch the original Miami when it was on?
Bits and pieces. And
I think that's a lot of people are like, I don't remember it.
Yeah, like I remember, that's why I remember Marisol and her mom being like my favorite thing ever. I was the fan of the mother more than Marisol. I remember her.
I think a lot of people were.
Yeah.
A lot of people were. God rest Mama Elsa.
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh. And
She's
seeing
so
Larsa then and now is just, that's the icing on the cake for me.
It's technically 5 newbies, because I don't know who that lady is. Who is that lady?
Who this woman?
I don't know who that is. The intro was really sweet though. Like you were saying, Tay, like the girls and Jamie, honestly, you could tell there's just something more organic about the scenes when someone really cares when they say, "Are you okay?" versus "Are you okay?" And then the next scene, Ashley Darby goes and tells everybody what they just told her. It's like there's a difference in the scene. It feels more relatable. Gertie's, I'm just so shocked that the season starting off with this. For some reason, I thought it would come like in the middle or even like at the end with like a cliffhanger, and then we just see how she's doing. But to start off the season so heavy, I'm like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to get through this show.
Yeah.
But it is beautiful to see. I mean, they're like 2 of my favorites. I love Nicole and I love Guerdy. So anytime they're together, it makes me smile. I love them too.
I agree.
Yeah.
So we see Kiki, Alexia, and Larsa. They're meeting up for a workout date. Kiki again providing the comedic relief. She was like, I'm not working out at this. I don't these balls. This is not what I do with balls. They're usually attached to men. I love Kiki, but I think that we said last season, for those of you who viewed us last season, like we really want Kiki's storyline to kind of expand a little bit more beyond just like the comedic relief or behind the sex talk, because Marisol and Adriana, while they are friends of, absolutely feel like they're central cast members. And Kiki kind of is the only one that I see and I love seeing, but she doesn't really have a lot going on. So I'm glad that she's been in more scenes, but I would like to get a little more backstory on Kiki as well. But they start discussing the prior night. They discuss Todd's absence at the party, and Alexia is kind of assuring them like, no, there's no trouble in paradise. The ladies are both saying, because obviously when your man don't show up to a party, the first question we have is, yo, what's wrong? And you didn't help anything by saying, don't worry, we're not getting divorced. But Alexia's mindset and her explanation makes sense. She says, I had to say that because I knew that's what you all were thinking. I knew by him not being there, the first thing y'all would put in y'all's mouth is, there must be trouble in paradise. Alexia says that Todd just doesn't really have an issue with anybody except maybe Adriana. He just wanted to remove himself from a potentially negative situation, negative energy. Kiki, playing the role of the bone collector, immediately hops in and says, well, you know what? When we were on the way over to the party, Adriana said that she thinks you're better than everybody because you and Todd have money and you put yourself up on a pedestal. And I'm going to be honest, I thought Alexia was going to like flip her shit and start talking mess about Adriana, but she surprisingly was calm. It was like, you know what? Adriana has been Adriana for as long as I know her, and she's always going to find a reason to be upset. She really is envious of my life, and there's really nothing more that I can say. Marisol calls them and sees all of them together, and she's like, thank you for not inviting me to this because I'm not going to go out to work out, but I want you all to come to a big gay brunch. She mentions that she isn't going to invite Adriana for obvious reasons, but she says after Julia kind of exploded on her the night before, she doesn't want that energy at her party there. Do you guys think, love, let me ask you, Alexia is kind of trying to get ahead, it feels like maybe getting ahead of a potential story about trouble in paradise by how she's like, don't worry, nothing wrong. I just wanted to put that out there. It's fine. We're all good. Do you think thou doth protest too much, or where there's smoke, there's fire?
I think the one person she needs to be double checking is Tom. He doesn't seem like he's on the same page about anything. Like, why did you reveal to us that you were in the house the whole time, bruh? You could have lied. Go across the street. Like I said, why did you guys reveal that? He was in, and then he was like, oh, I saw people when I came upstairs, and I think that I found it weird for her to be like, don't worry, you guys, we're not getting divorced. Like, girl, I'm eating my crab cake. I thought he was divorced. Like, you
literally could have lied and said he's at work. Like,
I mean, you could have been anything under the sun. Like, so to automatically be like, don't worry, guys, it's like, that's weird. So, I mean,
that's suspicious.
I feel like it's kind of like she's not doing herself a favor, which sometimes there's people who you do too much because you're trying to cover it, and then you just reveal it because you're doing too much. So I feel like she's doing too much.
Yeah. What about you, Shantae?
Oh, there's trouble in paradise with Alexia and that man. Anybody who will put all the different stories together will see that Adriana's not lying about running into that man in the building, because Lisa also ran into him too. And I also thought it was funny that when they were at the gym, I think Lasha was trying to beat the build a body allegations, but then she couldn't even balance on the ball.
First one to fall off.
Yeah. Because you remember
falling off that ball, I was like, you're not working out that much. Come on. She can't do
everybody dragged her.
Shot line. Yeah.
They dragged her at the reunion when she said, no, my body's natural. Girl. You are a lot of things.
Also fell off.
Well, but Kiki also said, she's like, I do not work out. I'm not doing this. Okay, well, we see Julia. She's joining Lisa and Adriana at Lisa's new man's house. Lisa is also talking about the blow up from the night before. And Julia says that her issue with Marisol is that Marisol starts rumors, but somehow manages to kind of like wash her hands clean and remain innocent in the whole thing. And she thinks she's just tired of it. We've seen Julia kind of talk about this over the last couple of seasons. Like, Marisol, like, shut up. You're getting involved in stuff. Like, stop fighting her battles. So I think that this was just a culmination of 3 years worth of frustration for Julia. Lisa agrees that Marisol is a pot stirrer. And she probably goes home and kind of cackles, but she says she goes home and churns the butter. And I'm like, Lisa, oh, shh. Just be pretty. The ladies, the combo turns to Gertie, and everybody is kind of in agreement that they know something is up, but nobody really knows what it is. The energy was palpable, and they're all a little bit concerned. At the workout place, Larsa says that she doesn't know what's going on, but she's just kind of centering it on herself. She attacked me. She called me fake, blah, 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 like Larsa tends to do. And Alexia, in a very spontaneous and surprising show of emotion and empathy, says that maybe we should be perhaps not be too quick to judge because perhaps Gertie is going through something. To piggyback real quick off what Shantae said, Larsa and Marcus are having lunch. They're joking about the weight gain. And Larsa even says, you know, I love working out so much, but I've been eating bad. I'm like, girl, please get this man off my camera. Like, nobody believes that. You don't believe that.
Go.
We also get a little scene of Lisa on her way to a deposition, and she gets good news. Lenny agrees temporarily to give her $8,000 a month in spousal support while they continue with this divorce. I'm like, my God, temporarily, like this. And we mentioned last week, this man hates her. Like,
that
he
was
would much
horrible
rather.
News. Horrible.
Yeah, horrible. He would rather pay lawyers and continue to pay lawyers to bleed him dry than give that lady and her kids, his kids, a cent of his money. So what did you guys think? Just really quick before we move, anything y'all want to add to the reason why Julia kind of blew up at Marisol? Shantae?
Well, Marisol definitely is in that rumor mill heavy. Even the rumors about Dr. Nicole in the hospital, remember Marisol had a hand in that too. So she is definitely one of the ones that is kind of like a throw the rock, hide your hand kind of type. So I get Julia's frustration, and she's definitely, you know, always kind of knowing or involved in the rumors in the show. And then when it comes to the Lenny situation, if you think back to, you know, how they struggled to have the kids, you know, they had to like try to get a surrogate and all that stuff. And it's not the same energy for making sure that they have enough resources, you know, and their mom are okay. So it's just so frustrating when you see these ain't shit dudes, you know, doing these things. Like Lenny, oh, he's not beating the bad guy allegations. Yeah, anytime soon.
Love, do you think Marisol stirs the pot and hides her hand?
No, I don't.
You a lie. I'm a Marisol fan, and even you said that with a straight face. That's terrifying. You just made that up. You just made that up.
I tried, Marisol. I tried. Yeah, man.
I love her, but she stirs the pot.
It's okay, though. You know, it's okay. It's just a little bit. You know, but
it's a lot of
the thing is, what makes it interesting when there's a housewife that just season after season after season just gets fed up, and then there just comes that one season where she just comes in hot.
Yeah.
And the other housewife is like, girl, you're being weird, bro. Julia is done. But Marisol is like, ain't this just another season? Like, whoa.
She says, I've been doing this.
Yeah, she's like, I ain't new to this. Like, what is going on? So I really feel like it's like Julia was not playing games with Marisol. It's deserved. It is. It's just, I hope that in some capacity Marisol actually fights back. Because right now she's just like, I ain't got time for that. Where the margaritas for the men? So it's kind of like, it's one-sided. I'm waiting for it to be equal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I also
you
wonder
know,
how her liver's doing after that letter, you know?
after the letter
I
that it
want to
wrote.
know if the liver is still being
It's fine.
abused. and
Well,
held
good.
hostage.
speaking of drunk Marisol,
Yeah.
we're at Marisol's Big Gay Brunch, and she arrives to the restaurant that is hosting it, and it is like it's a barren wasteland. Nothing is set up. She has her homemade disco ball, cocktail glasses. She did used to be a party planner, so like she goes into party planner mode. I need
That's
you to
right.
set up this. Where's the DJ? What are we doing with this? She tells the server that you need to set up the bar. DJ, you got to take off your shirt. Let's get
Right.
these cocktail glasses set up. Let's go. Meanwhile, Nicole arrives at her brunch looking to die for, like so gorgeous. Nicole is always just like, just like put together. Miami, if we're being honest, is probably one of the most put together casts in terms
Their
of just like fashion.
fashion.
There,
Yeah.
it's pure Miami, but just like it's. I love them. Everybody actually looks great. Gertie shows up. Adriana shows up. Julia shows up. Julia looks a little bit simpler, but I'm here to defend this little haircut that she got has given her some new life because she's tossing that bob around. She's wearing fun colors and little camisoles and stuff. She looks great.
And apparently she's getting all the men's with anything she does.
Listen, anything. She got a history. She got a history.
All of them.
So the ladies all sit down, cocktails are ordered, and immediately Adriana is like, all right, what happened to you last night? Why did you leave? Everybody is like, whoa, let's hold on. Let's reel it in. Let's order some cocktails first. In her confessional, Gertie says that she is a little bit worried about sharing her cancer diagnosis. She hasn't had a lot of time really to wrap her head around it, but she knows that this group of ladies, they're her friends. This is her safe space, and these are the people that she wants to tell first outside of her family. Big Gay Brunch is in full swing. We see dozens and dozens of white passing Latino homosexuals are arriving. Kiki shows up. Lisa shows up. Both of them just look like there's a lot of times like Kiki always just looks perfection, like no notes. But there's a lot of times where Lisa can show up looking a little cheap, a little like underdressed, like coverage.
Little Sheen by Sheree.
Yes, she looked absolutely gorgeous in this. She ate this up.
Now this she did right.
This she did right. So Kiki says that she was at dinner and she sat next to Lenny's mistress's ex-husband. And he was actually such a nice guy, a very nice guy. Apparently, Lisa does know him and says that he's getting a lot of like negative press or a lot of negative attention. Kiki, being the good friend that she is, says, you know what? I'll sleep with him. I'll take one for the team. I will get revenge on behalf of Lisa by sleeping with Lenny's mistress's ex-husband. That's how good of a friend I am. Back at the champagne brunch, Emilio Estefan happens to be in the restaurant and just kind of approaches the table to say hi to Adriana. For those of you who aren't aware, Emilio Estefan is an icon. He's basically like the baby face of Latin music, created Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine. Gloria Estefan is there, but politely declined to be on camera and said, I'm going to sit at my table. Emilio, you go. So he is producing Adriana. He has worked with a ton of great artists. Nicole is starstruck and rightfully so. And so he's kind of telling the ladies, hey, you know what? There's the song that I want to play for you. Apparently it was supposed to be a song for Camila Cabello, but he instead wants to give it to Adriana. The ladies are kind of impressed because Adriana very much is like full swing, wanting to pursue music. If you guys remember, last year she created a song with Emilio Estefan. An icon in the clubs. Iconic, instantly iconic. If Chase and Antonio were on, we would do the little dance and Danny because we worked very hard at trying to do that. We failed miserably. But she needs some time, and she definitely is cultivating her music career. Back at the brunch, Lisa said, like you mentioned, love, she bumped into Todd on her way out of the party. She tells Alexia that the energy was down. He seemed a little bit down, and she asked, if everything was good. Alexia is staunchly, no, it's fine, it's fine. He just, he didn't want a potentially negative energy there, and so he decided to remove himself. Blah blah blah. He was overwhelmed with all of that, and he just thought it was better not to show up. I assure you, Nothing is wrong. Adriana tells her party she also saw Todd. She said that she apologized, that if she did anything to insult or hurt him. She says Todd assured her that she did absolutely nothing, and she never hurt him and everything was good with him. To which Adriana says, I then told him, maybe you guys need some time to figure out your marriage. And he says, you hit it right on the nose. The ladies are all shocked because Alexia is staunchly defending their marriage. Julia looks gagged because she has been going to bat for Adriana with Alexia, trying to smooth things over. And Adriana is dead set on making Julia look like a damn fool. So Shantae, what are your thoughts on these little packages? Emilio Estefan, the music career, do you think it's going to happen? Do you think it's not? And then Adriana being as messy as Adriana is happening.
Oh yeah, well, I love Gloria Estefan, and I thought it was really cool that Adriana had that, link up moment, to show that she's really serious about her dream. Because when she first started, she was doing just the art, and it's nice that she's elevating. And that's what we like to see with our housewives, seeing them grow, getting their, new passions and dreams. So it's wonderful to see. But of course, Adriana can't help herself. She went from having this great moment where everyone's like respecting her career to just going after Alexia, and their beef is legendary. I feel like every housewife show has that beef. You have like Giselle versus Karen, like
Right.
Alexia versus Adriana. It will never get old. And Julia, Julia was trying, bless her heart, for trying to broker peace. But Adriana can't help herself. She's always gonna go for Alexia's neck. And I'm here for it because Alexia is not really selling me what, she's peddling with this Todd, story. Because really, even from last season, he had issues with, how she was being with her sons. Remember how he had that whole intervention and he was like, listen, not on my watch. He was trying to fix all of their lives. And then we saw in the trailers, I think they're going to have financial problems and have to like move out of the apartment, or there's a threat for them having to leave. So clearly something's up. And even the way Alexia was saying, well, I don't know who he has problems with. It's like, maybe it's Adriana, but it's like the logical answer would have been Dr. Nicole's husband, because they had that beef with the apology. But it's not adding up the way Alexia's telling it. So as much as Adriana seems messy, she's not lying. So poor Julia just needs to take her hands off of the peace deal, because ain't going to be no peace, and it's going to be fabulous to watch.
Love, is Adriana being messy if she's telling the truth?
Well, do we believe that Todd said that?
Yes.
Adriana's a lot of things. I don't know her to be a liar. Well, let me take that back. She embellishes the truth a little bit.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning. Do we believe he literally said the words, "You nailed it on the head. Trouble with my marriage. Go have a cocktail"?
He probably said, yeah.
That's exactly how it went down.
He gave a 9-minute apology. He clearly has loose lips.
True.
Like,
that's
and
true.
he admitted that he
That's
talked
true.
to everybody.
The story was a little, I don't know. I don't know.
It was a little Adriana.
It was a little Adriana. So you mean to tell me you're like, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings with anything I ever said or did. He was like, don't even worry about it. Like, it's cool. Have a good time. She was like, I'm sure there's trouble in your marriage. I hope you guys are okay. Really? That's the way it flows? Because as soon as she said that, I said, girl, that's the combo. Everyone was like, what? Julia wanted to disappear. She said, check, please. I'm not doing this with this.
I can't get me off camera.
She was so done. She's done trying. It's ridiculous. But no, like, she cannot help but being herself. When it comes to the her and Alexia beef, I'm with her all day. Can't stand Alexia. Get her. Every chance you can get, get her. Snipe her. Get her. I don't care. I do not like that lady. Do not like that. I don't even like the way she treats hospitality workers. When she told that waiter, We're gonna order everything right now so you don't distract us or disturb us, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. I said, you mean you don't want him to come and service you? The reason why you're here? I cannot stand that lady. Anyway.
She's never beaten she thinks she's better than people allegations. She's never beaten them.
She's the
and her son is beating up homeless people too, so it's like the apple's not falling from the tree.
Yeah, the apple is still on the tree. The apple is on the tree.
Can't stand her with that. And as far as her music career goes, she's stiff. No, I don't think it's gonna work. I love her. I do. I think her voice is cute. You know, I like the beat, but I'm just over housewives being singers. I don't want to see another housewife pop up in the studio. I'm so tired. Like, no one wants to be a carpenter. No one wants to be like a doctor. No one wants to like maybe go into like architecture. Everybody wants to be a singer. I'm like, dude, I'm just tired of it. It was cute with Kim Zolciak. Melissa kind of around the house.
Never.
Now we got Drew's a singer. Luann's a singer. Ariana's a singer. I said, well, damn, bitch, I'm a singer. Like, maybe I can sing. I think I can sing starting tomorrow. Like,
are you going to be the first lean cast member to release a single? What would your single be?
Go to my cabaret?
What was it? Absolutely not. I cannot do cabaret. I refuse.
It should be My Square. My Square.
That's the name of the song, My Square.
My Square. But I think it's cute. I gagged. I thought that one was cool. I don't think her career is going anywhere. I'm tired of seeing it, but I love her.
Love it. It's cute for the show. Let's keep it on the show. But I will say what you will about Adriana, but she is the only housewife turned singer whose song is the theme song to their franchise. So that's her song. You can't take that away. So baby, every single time that song plays, Bravo be giving her residuals. Every single time, Peacock giving her residuals. Not a lot
That's
of
kind of cute.
Money Can't Buy You Class ain't playing anywhere. Party for the Party ain't playing anywhere. All right, so back at the brunch, Larsa is annoying everybody talking about Marcus. She's planning a welcome home party for him, and Kiki's like, that boy just left 2 days ago. What are you welcoming him, Larsa? He just left. No, they're all annoyed, but nobody is more annoyed than Lisa, who is like, y'all are gross. Y'all are annoying, man. Like, my God. The ladies are all in agreement. Like, it's okay to miss somebody. It doesn't have to be a big to-do. That's fine, Larsa. Conversation kind of switches. Kiki kind of brings it up. And I know I said earlier, I wanted Kiki to be more present, but this is how you do it. I think Miami is one of the only franchises whose friends are all very, very integral to the show. Adriana and Marisol for sure. Kiki absolutely is working her way in with the group and making herself solidified. And at this point, there are times that I forget I'm watching a housewife show with friends of, and I just have kind of already accepted that they're all cast
housewives,
because they're all just doing it. They're showing up to work. She tells Lisa, she's like, you know what? I love you. What was her man's name? Is it Jody? Jody. She said, Jody, Jody's great. Everybody's in agreement that he's great. But, she's worried, like, is this going to be a rebound? I know that you're trying to heal and stuff, but please, don't, your may move a little too fast. There was talks about moving in. And Lisa, she doesn't get defensive. She doesn't get mad. She's like, you know what? This is the first time in like 15 years that I have a man who is like obsessed with me. He's emotionally available for me. He helps calm me down when I'm freaking out. He's patient. He's kind. He's loving. Like, he's there for me. And when she said that, because I was also thinking it was a little bit of a what is it? Oh my God, I can't. Thank you. My God, words are hard. It's a little bit of a rebound. It is. But hearing her talk about this, like, she deserves it. That man put her through hell and back for the last 10 years. Has embarrassed her over and over again in the press, on TV. I love that she has a man who also has money, but is more so just looking after her, like, her well-being.
Likes her. He
actually likes her. Actually likes her. So good for her. Adriana is also having kind of the same conversation, but she's staunchly a Jody supporter. She's saying that he's a keeper, and even though it may seem that things are moving kind of fast, she's seen them together, and he very much loves Lisa. The ladies are all kind of in agreement. It may be a little bit fast. Nicole is saying that Lisa is in the middle of a traumatic like separation, and she just hopes that Lisa is kind of giving herself some time to heal up. Julia pops in and says, like, you know what? I've been divorced. I've been separated. Life is way too short to think about timing. If you like somebody, go for it. And it's during this we find out that she has been engaged not 1, not 3, not 6, but 9 times to men and women. Good for Julia. Over the last 3 years, we've all, myself included, have sat on this panel, have said that she's a little bit boring. She doesn't have the fashions, but this lady pulls them. Like, I can't say, like, she's showing up for work. She got herself a new bob. The bob is bobbing. She snagged 9 different people. Like, she's putting Bryn to shame. Like, okay.
Or is she a prostitution whore?
Prostitution whore.
Engaged 9 times.
Right. She is a prostitution.
Allegedly. So after we get that, everybody's kind of laughing with Julia. And Nicole finally asks Gertie what's going on. And everybody kind of agrees. We all can tell something's wrong. You left the party in a hurry. Gertie's, disposition changes, and she looks very solemn, and she knows that now she's got to come clean to her friends. And back at the brunch, they're kind of having the same conversation. Nobody knows what's going on with Gertie. Everybody is wondering what's wrong. Larsa kind of starts to drag her down yet again, and it's Johnny, Alexia's friend, who tells the ladies that they should be empathetic because it's very possible that she's going through something. So we finally see Gertie is in tears. She's scared. And the ladies, you can see on Nicole's face that she knows what it is, because we saw last episode, Gertie actually told her that she was going in for some testing. Nicole is a doctor. I think Nicole at this moment knew what it was. So Gertie finally tells the girls that after rounds and rounds of tests, she has officially been diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer, and it is invasive. And she is waiting next steps for getting the surgery scheduled, which is coming a lot quicker than she's comfortable with, and when to start the chemo treatment to kick it. She is terrified. She's in tears. All of the ladies are emotional and immediately jump in being supportive. Nicole is crying. Adriana's grabbing on her. Julia, as we know, just went through this just months before with her wife, Martina, being diagnosed with breast and I think it was throat cancer. It's one of these moments that if the setup was scripted, like, hey, we got the call sheet, you have to show up, you've got to come and work, the reactions and the way the ladies rallied around Gertie was absolutely not. That was 100% real, and I felt that. This was one of my, I hate to say my favorite scenes, but this was one of the more impactful and touching scenes, I think, across any Housewives show. Because they all immediately just like, you're going to beat this. Don't worry. She's saying she's worried about her husband, Russell. And Julia's like, he's going to be there for you. Like people, he's going to step up. You have friends. You've got loved ones. We are going to be right by your side. And Adriana tells her, you've been with me through my lowest points the last few years. And now it's my turn to be there for you. And they all rally around and just say, this is it. You've got 9 people now that are here for you. So Gertie tries to make light of the situation, and she ends the conversation by saying, you know what? I've got perfect breasts. I got really small nipples. And my husband assured me that even if they were crooked and pointed up, he would still love me. And Adriana, God bless her, she always has the best intentions, but she says, you're going to Gertify cancer. And I'm like, you don't have to say everything that comes to your mind. But I guess that's her way of being supportive. So I ask you, ladies, I know that we talked a little bit about it in our group chat, but love, what were your thoughts on Gertie's big reveal to the ladies and her diagnosis?
Oh gosh, that scene is the reason why I had to put a hat on and not do so much makeup. I cried throughout the whole scene. Yeah. I cried throughout that entire scene. I thought I was at the table. I felt like I was sitting across next to them. Even though I already knew, I felt like I didn't know with the way she said it. The fact that she stuttered over even saying breast and cancer. I was a mess. I'm trying to think about the last time I've cried. I want to say the last time I've cried like that in any Housewives scene was probably when Teresa came home from jail. I was a mess. I thought you couldn't tell me Teresa wasn't my cousin. I was so happy she was home from jail. I was like, finally, you're home. So that scene, oh my gosh, just so raw, so real, so relatable, so current because it's happening to her right now. It's real time for the viewers. Gosh, I wouldn't be surprised if this is probably one of their like most rated episodes, with a lot of people just wanting to see her journey, how it started, her having the confidence. I couldn't imagine having to, she didn't just reveal that to her friends, she revealed it to the world in that moment.
Yeah.
So she had to think about, I got to tell them, no, I got to tell the world for the first time. It wasn't even about the housemates, like, the housewives. I got to reveal it to everybody right now. So let me do the best I can and do it. That in itself, I commend her for. I don't know. I don't even think you could pay me to reveal something like that in front of the world. That is so much confidence and courage. Like, that is just, it was astronomical as far as like what you have to do to put yourself in that position. I was at a loss for words. That scene hit hard for me. That's all I can say.
Agree. What about you, Shantae?
Oh yeah. Ooh, that scene. Because I tried to watch the episode last night, but same as love, like I was crying. I've been, have my Candace cry angle just in case, a little bit come out because
Not a prop.
it
Not a
really,
prop.
yes. I had to have my cry angle because I fell asleep crying. Like I had to watch the second half of the episode today because I have people in my family, that beat cancer. And for her to be a mom, thinking like Dr. Nicole said, well, what about my kids? What if something happens and I have to leave, my husband and my kids behind, things like that. But of course, you hope for the best. And it's good that she was able, to make the jokes and have that fight in her because you saw on X or Twitter, I sent y'all the picture where she was ringing the bell. I think that was Wednesday she did, So she's been phenomenal for like giving us updates because if I had seen the episode without the updates, I would have been even more broken up than I already was. Like I cried knowing that she's okay, but like you said, like the scene was so powerful, the love, the friendship, all that like it's just amazing that you have this reality format to capture things like this because I'm sure there are people who connect with that story, people who are dealing with the same thing that can draw strength from Gertie, and people who may not be dealing with the same thing just to, send their love to her and positivity. It's just beautiful, So yeah.
I agree.
Go Gertie.
There's a lot of times that these formats, like we don't watch them for education. We do not watch them to come out, with our IQ being stimulated or being expounded upon. This is frivolous entertainment. We like some of the best moments have come from really frivolous, random fights. Like Beverly Hills last night, Sutton was at a strip show and got upset at some lap dances, and like that just blew up on Twitter. Like these shows are not serious, but every now and then a franchise will have. I even hate to say storyline because this isn't a storyline. This is a very real event that happened to her in real time as the cameras were rolling. Like she doesn't have an opportunity to be like, well, I don't want this to be on camera. Like this is it. This is like you said, Shantae, this is what the reality TV format is. And I think it's so important because in the midst of this frivolity and people arguing and stuff, it's very real world. Life is this. I could be arguing with somebody because you're fake and you're this and you're that, but I'm also going through this at home. So I'm very happy that she was able to have the courage to document this because I think that, breast cancer is scary. And I think all of us know at least one person in our life, whether it be a family member or friend, who has been affected by breast cancer. This is a very real thing, a very dangerous thing, a very rough thing. And a lot of times being men, we don't think about the impact that it has on women. But I've heard from the women in my life, this is something that once they reach a certain age, it's a consistent thing in the back of their heads every time they go to the doctor.
And so men can get it too.
Yes,
that's what
and
people
that's not something
remember too, because men have breastises, some bigger than others, So men can get it too. So again,
It's very
these
true.
platforms, they help. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
with black
I'm
women
very.
too. Black
Oh
women
yeah.
ain't being called. Yeah. So.
And, I mean, we could go down a whole other conversation about why it's misdiagnosed, not diagnosed, underdiagnosed, overlooked, over that. But it's, it shows like Married to Medicine and the doctors being very up forward in this. I really hope that this allows some viewers to look at that and be like, hey, let me start getting checked. Because Gertie is what, in her early 40s, late 30s, early 40s, I think. She's relatively young. She's got kids that aren't even 18 years old yet. Like this, you should be able to talk about it. It shouldn't be taboo. Get yourself checked for your health, for your friends, for your family. And this scene tore me up, and I'm very glad to know how it ends, but I'm interested in seeing the journey documented.
It says she's 45.
45. That ain't nothing.
Good 45.
Absolutely. So we see Alexia and Todd are having dinner in probably one of the most scripted PR moves in Housewives history. We see Alexia like, hey, I'm just going to go in order so that you come back and bother us. I thought that was a little weird, but I also thought that maybe she just didn't want the guy interrupting the conversation that they were getting ready to have on camera.
Say it nice.
She don't know how to say it different. She don't know how to say it different. Nice is not in her vocabulary. So we find out, before they get into the meat and potatoes, Peter, who is Alexia's douchebag son, lives just blocks away from them. Alexia says she wants to go grocery shopping, and Todd is like, that man is 30 years old. Why are you going grocery shopping for him? And Alexia, like a typical Latino mom, is like, yeah, but age doesn't matter. I'm still going to go grocery shopping. Apparently, they share housekeepers, and that housekeeper is a chismosa to the max because she's giving Alexia all the details, all the gossip, what's going on in Peter's house. And that's why Alexia is keeping her on the payroll. So finally, they discuss the missing dinner. And Todd thanks her for supporting his decision to avoid any potential drama. He said he understands if anybody had questions, because honestly, if the roles were reversed and somebody else's husband didn't show up at a dinner, they would probably have the exact same questions on anybody. We find out that the reason that Todd didn't come, and he says it point blank, was because he didn't want to be around certain people whose energy was negative. So he has learned to remove himself from those situations. And unfortunately, he did not name any names on who he didn't want to be around. Alexia says, they fight. Production is kind of asking her, have you ever missed and production was producing, because they said, have you ever missed an event of Todd's? And she was like, no. And it's sad that he doesn't want to support me. And I'm like, oh, production messy for this. Production has planted seeds. So we end the episode with Gertie and Larsa meeting up to clear the air. And Gertie goes in with intentions to kind of patch things up from the couple of days before at the party. She wants to move forward because she does think that she and Larsa can be good friends. But the thing that I love about Gertie is she's setting very clear expectations. Larsa needs to respect me, and Larsa needs to listen to me. And in my mind, she expects way too much from Larsa. So as soon as they sit down, Larsa is on a mission to find out why Gertie called her fake. And while I can't necessarily blame her, the lady doesn't shut up for 5 seconds to hear Gertie out. She starts talking, and Gertie, says, before we start, I just want to set the intentions to move forward, and I want us to be honest. I want us to be open. And Larsa immediately interrupts her and says, but we're not crying today. That's what we're not going to do. And the combo just kind of spirals from there. Gertie is immediately on the defensive. Larsa says Gertie doesn't give her a chance to speak at Alexa's party. And I'm like, you're not giving Gertie a chance to speak right now. Gertie says, well, I felt that Alexia's party was absolutely not the place to discuss the issues that we were having. She says Larsa is disrespectful and dismissive to her. And then she goes to giving examples. And Larsa says, no, I didn't say any of that. Larsa continues to interrupt and says, you know what? I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know what you're saying. Gertie retorts, well, that's because you're not listening to me. And this is exactly my point. Larsa says, well, maybe say less words. And this just sends Gertie to the moon for obvious reasons. She gets pissed. She's like, English is not my second language. There are times that I stumble over my words. And I know I can be lengthy. And I know that I'm talking. And Larsa's like, well, I speak 4 languages. And Gertie's like, what does that have to do with anything? They're arguing. It's just devolving. And so, of course, now Gertie, in frustration, starts to cry. And she says, Larsa, you need to offer a safe space for me to want to be open with you. And Larsa says, are you seriously doing this to me right now? Gertie's begging her, please just be patient with me. And Larsa ends the conversation with, do you want me to start crying too? I can tell you everything that's going wrong with my life. Gertie at this point just shuts down and says, you know what? We are done. So before I get y'all thoughts, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put the link to our calls into the chat. If you want to give us feedback on anything that we talked about tonight, share your opinions on the episode, click on that link and we will bring you on to discuss. So, Shantae, let's go ahead and start with you. What did you think, first of all, about the conversation with Todd and Alexia?
Yes, I think Todd didn't say the name because the name of the person he didn't want to be around was Alexia, allegedly. Because I don't think it was anybody else, because logically, based on the falling out, it would have been Dr. Nicole's husband, like I said, but he already apologized. And them two obviously don't see eye to eye on how to parent, and especially when it comes to that son that she want to buy groceries for with their money. I'm sure he has a lot of reservations, but he is trying to play nice right now, but I think there are times in private where it probably does get, a little heated between them. And that night probably was one of those times, because if we watched the episode before, when they were walking on the beach, he was saying that he was gonna come. He's like, yeah, tell me the time and the place, So what had happened between him being open and apologizing for 9 minutes and then him not going when he didn't see anybody? Something with Alexia. So again, Alexia is the name of the person that he didn't want to be around, allegedly, according to my good sense and the Holy Ghost. Now, when it comes to the, Gertie and Larsa situation, Larsa, she must be looking back at that scene and feel so silly. I hope she apologizes at the reunion, has some self-awareness. But she looks like the type of person who also would stick to her guns as well, and maybe talk about how the fake allegations really bothered her. Because at the end of the day, Larsa is one of the people that will confront things and say how she feels, but that's not what Gertie's issue is. Gertie's issue is probably not fakeness per se. I feel like maybe Gertie misspoke. Gertie expressed herself way better when she said, you're dismissive of me, you're disrespectful. That's more, I think, what she wanted to say, but she used the word fake, and Larsa has issue with that word specifically because Larsa is very direct, and confrontational. And of course, we see that the working out is not going as, I guess, well in convincing people that her body is not built, So I think she wants to fight the fake allegations, but here Gertie was telling her, no, I'm telling you my feelings, and my feelings, are being disrespected by you and dismissed by you. And what did Larsa do? Prove her correct by dismissing her, minimizing what she was saying. And I think being a little ethnocentric again, because she's talking about her accent, not understanding what she says in the confessionals. And I know there is a lot of stigmas, I guess, in this country around Haitian people and voodoo and the language thing. I think is a way to dig at that. I don't think Larsa is racist because I've seen that online. I think it is more ethnocentric, and the fact that Gertie's, Haitian and foreign and things like that. So Larsa needs to take a good look in the mirror, especially after seeing this scene, and figure out what is it that makes her want to dismiss and disrespect Gertie, especially at this time where everybody clearly sees that something's up with Gertie. Even if Larsa doesn't know that Gertie has cancer per se,
Yeah.
this girl is crying. She's begging you for your support and your patience, and you're gonna treat her this disrespectful still. Like it was too much. And I hope Larsa sees this and feels real silly and apologizes. But I don't even know if she's
She
gonna
won't.
do that.
She won't. All right, love. What are your thoughts on the Todd and Alexia, and then on this final scene with Gertie and Larsa?
Todd is a terrible person, just like Alexia. So they actually, it makes sense. I felt no ways. Like as much as I wanted to be like, oh, Alexia, you deserve better, and I said, wait a minute, no, you don't. You don't deserve better. I said, you know what? I like you guys together. It makes sense. Makes sense. And there's just something about the way he talks to her, how dismissive he is to her. Before she could say anything like, well, I wish you were there. He was like, thank you for supporting my decision. I am who I am. I'm not changing. Can I have another shot? She was like, okay. Like,
yeah.
That man they're both narcissists. They both can go to hell. Do not like that woman at all. Her lips are so horrible. Does she have the worst set of lips in the show?
No, Larsa is there.
Worse than Alexia?
Yeah. Larsa's there. Jen Shaw is there. We can go on all day.
Jen Shaw is there. Thank you. You're right. Okay, you're right.
Every now and then.
Larsa is an insufferable human being. So the thing is, it's like, she doesn't care. She doesn't like Gertie. I think she does. It's not that she doesn't like her. She doesn't care enough to care. I think that's the way I could put it. She doesn't care enough to care. So the average person sitting across the table, reading body language, understanding the energy of this person. This is the second time they burst out in tears talking to you in an interaction that didn't warrant that type of energy and that type of emotion. And you're still so tone deaf and thinking about your schedule of your next ass shot with Dr. Miami that you don't even care that this woman is literally crying out for you to just shut up for 10 seconds for her to tell you what's going on. That was her chance to, at least, if that conversation and sit down went well, she was going to reveal to her that she has cancer.
Yeah.
That was the goal. That if things were going to be smooth and that was her chance to tell her. I'm sure she's going to get around to everybody. She was like, oh, girl, bye. You ain't getting this out the scene. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And like you said, Tay-Tay, she's probably going to feel not just silly, disgusted. She's going to feel disgusted watching that scene back. Do you want me to cry too? Because I can cry too. I was like, did you just try to surrender her? I can cry too. I said, I wish you. Now, that would have been a moment where if Gertie threw a drink in that woman's face, I feel like y'all would have been like,
I would have been like,
baptism, yes.
That would have been the time to throw a drink real quick and exit stage left. Would have been fine. We all would have been okay with it. It's fine.
Larsa has every right to be annoyed or upset that Gertie called her fake. And Gertie even said, he was like, okay, I shouldn't have said fake. It wasn't about social media. This is, but the thing with Larsa is, and somebody mentioned it in the comments, she doesn't listen to understand. She listens to respond. She went into there in every interaction, and you hit it on the nail on the head. Watching Larsa, she does not care about other people enough to care, but she absolutely cares enough about herself to make sure that other people aren't talking poorly about her. And so, like, it's the most frustrating thing having conversations with people like that, is because they absolutely come into a situation not wanting to understand why. They can ask, why did you call me fake? And we'll never give you an opportunity to explain. No. Because all they want is confrontation. All they want is to just fight about it. That's it. So, all right. We have one call. We need y'all to prepare yourself. We got Ronnie waiting to come in, and he is the Larsa stan. I'm still not convinced that Ronnie is not Larsa and on a burner account. So we're going to go ahead and bring him on. Don't jump him or nothing. So here we go.
Okay.
Not randomly Larsa's biggest fan.
Listen, allow me to clear my throat. What's the problem with Larsa? Are you kidding me? She has been so instrumental on this show. Season 1, episode frame 1, Larsa's
that ain't the
always been
argument though,
consistent.
Ronnie.
Oh well, I'm just starting my monologue.
Okay.
What's the
Come
argument? And in fairness, I actually was working a bit ago, so I didn't catch the whole show. I always watch you on the rewatch. What is the lecture? What is the lecture at hand so far? And then I will tell you how I'll be able to argue my way in favor of Larsa, the queen.
She is sensitive.
The great thing about Larsa is Larsa is a villain through and through. And I think that Larsa is instrumental to a show because she stands in her villaindom and doesn't care if you care if she's a villain. Like, she knows her role. However, when it comes to creating relationships with people, it's draining. She has been the common denominator in the breakdown of all of her friendships that we've seen on the show. It's her. And it's because Larsa doesn't care about anybody more than she cares about herself. And that's fine. Like, that's cute. Everybody needs a Larsa on the cast because, my God, it's delusion at its greatest. But, and I said this in our group chat, Ronnie, and I think you'll agree, it's fun and frivolous for television, but there are times when she inches very close to Lisa Rinna territory when it's just like I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be around you at all. And I think Gertie in this scene was looking for Larsa to maybe just like, I understand you're mad. Give me 10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds to talk to you. But Larsa, in her narcissism would not grant that 10 seconds. Ronnie, we are giving you the floor uninterrupted as much as it's going to
Wait. But there's also the ethnocentrist / racist allegation. I don't think she's racist, but she dismisses
no allegations.
Gertie.
You said
and
that.
she talks about her accent. That is one of the allegations that I want to know what Ronnie thinks too, because she's been saying it for a while. I don't never know what Gertie's saying. What is Gertie saying? And all that stuff. I don't know.
All right, Ronnie.
Go ahead.
Can you defend?
Well, you threw 9 things at me. My gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
I'm actually not familiar with what you're talking about in terms of allegations. I think what I will talk about is in terms of the episode, where I think the whole situation is challenging is there's such a huge compassion that I have for what Gertie is going through. And I often wonder if I was on the TV show myself and I was going through that, like, is that something where I'd want to do the series, or would I want to kind of, dip into a part-time role, because you are dealing with a major situation in terms of a cancer scare. Like, that's such a serious thing. Where I think it's challenging, and who knows where it's going to go. And will Larsa misstep? Yeah, she always has. She's done it time and time again. But where I feel like in terms of in this particular episode, we'll see as the season goes, where I defend her is I feel like it's a little bit of a challenging, she's damned if she does, damned if she doesn't type of thing. Because right now, currently, let's go back to when this aired. Before any of this happened and Gertie was where she was standing in terms of her, what she was going through, she already had been talking very loudly several times about Larsa. She was creating a space. If I get back on this season, Larsa this, Larsa that. Now, the best part and the most honest thing that Gertie did say was, oh, you said stuff about Gertie shouldn't say anything because she hasn't went through a divorce. And I think that's the peak of the issue. I think one thing that Gertie does not incorrectly, it's you to each their own prerogative. She gets something, she gets sad about it, she doesn't address it, and then it manifests into a resentment later. And that's the part I have a little bit of trouble with. It's like you were able to be cool with her all season, and even after the season or whatever the case, whatever the case, and then all of a sudden you pull this thing of resentment because your feelings were hurt. Like, in my opinion, you have to address these things when somebody says something that you don't like right there and then. It feels like it was pulled back from yesteryear, and then it became the basis of why she was going to come at her. I think what I'm also saying is when she did that interview with those guys from Page 6, she had already defined a negative connection with Larsa. So it is really a bit of a challenge. If you're Larsa, you don't know all the stuff that the audience is privy to in terms of that she is going through cancer. What are you expecting out of Larsa is all I'm asking you guys. If you don't know what the other person's going through, what do you expect from her?
So Larsa has and we said all of us are in agreement, Larsa has every right to be upset about the fake comments, right? What once again is coming into play is Larsa does not give anybody space to explain themselves, even if she asks. So she sits down and she asks, why did you say this, this, and this? And as Gertie is explaining, you're dismissive, you're this. Larsa's interrupting. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. So you're asking a question not for understanding. You're asking a question to try just to beat me up. Does Gertie, everything that you said about Gertie manifesting later into frustrations and not, yeah, that's true. I think all of us have a little bit of that in us, right? But at the point where if we're coming to meet at a lunch and the point of us is to kind of hash stuff out and get better, if I'm asking you, hey, give me some space just to be honest, let me talk and explain, and you off the bat don't want to do that, what am I then supposed to think of the direction of this conversation?
Okay,
and
but
Larsa does that with a lot of people.
My thing is the energy that Larsa presented was very calm energy. She didn't really, there wasn't anything. She was like,
She was
okay,
condescending.
I don't
Very
think she was.
condescending.
That's the one thing that I will push back. I don't think she was condescending. The thing, okay, here's the thing. Who called the meeting? Gertie? She called the meeting. So if you call the meeting and you have resentment for whatever Larsa had said about the Michelle Obama or she shouldn't be talking if she doesn't have a divorce, you called the meeting. It would be like any of three of you. If I said something, because we do these shows, I call in quite frequently. I'm probably the number one guest. Yes, absolutely. Cheers for me. But my point is, if one of you was like, hey, randomlyronniejr.com plug, hey, randomlyronniejr.com, I didn't like what you had said. Like, you called the meeting, I feel like you have to sort of dictate the meeting. There's nothing. How do I know what it is? Like, I don't know your.
But Larsa didn't let her dictate the meeting.
But
right?
Yeah, Larsa was like, "Don't cry."
But what I'm saying is right, and I'm kind of jumped in and pardon me, did cut you off a little. Larsa, in my opinion, if you rewatch it, because I rewatched it, and I know you all did too, she didn't cut her off. She simply was communicating. Where I'm saying the issue is that Gertie had a lot of stuff going on in her head, which is rightfully so because of what she's going through, which is why I said from the beginning, I don't know if you do have this really life-defying scary situation if filming a reality show is the most healthy. Luckily she did it and everything is good. She rang the bell on Wednesday and I am happy for her. But I'm saying Gertie did not use her words completely. Like, she didn't convey what the thing was, and she cut Larsa short. Like, well, I'm just going to get up, not give her the chance. I think Gertie developed the storyline that I'm going to sort of wait for her to say something wrong, because we all do know, and I'll admit it too, Larsa will always say something wrong. That's Larsa. She's consistent. And then once that happened, she dug right into it, and then she got to, I hate to say it, let's say it, let's just say it. She got to play the victim. She did. I love Gertie, but she did do that. And maybe I'm the Larsa of the panel. You know, it is what it is.
How could she play victim though when Larsa came in talking about don't cry?
Yeah,
and do you want me to cry too?
Things.
Like, if Larsa made herself be a bully, if Gertie looked like a victim, it's because Larsa came with her bullheaded self, not listening, still dismissing, still disrespecting, like Gertie said. So I'm gonna have to push back on that. Like, what would you call a situation if somebody is telling someone who is already emotionally, disturbed, and they ask you to be patient with them, they cried with you before, they're clearly upset here, and you're telling them don't cry, you want me to cry too?
Yeah,
like
that's
calm.
Ron.
Like, what
Ron,
do you really
crazy.
you really
Ron,
call that
crazy.
calm? Like,
That's
what do you
crazy,
call
Ron.
that for real?
Tell me what? Wait, what are you saying?
I think they were just saying hypotheticals, like how should she have responded?
Right.
But I think the great thing about the lean is when we get calls like this where people are at completely separate ends of the same conversation, because we can almost say everybody in that conversation left that conversation thinking they were 100% in the right. So everybody has their perspective of things. I think that we can both agree that neither party did a great job of communicating probably earlier when it should have.
And
but
that's my last
I don't
point,
want to cut you off, Ronnie. Really quick, I'll give you 10 more seconds, but we're running a little bit long. So I'll let you have the last word, and then we've got to jet out.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm so sorry that I was talking quite a bit.
No, you're fine.
My last 10 seconds is the panel's amazing, the guests and the live chat is amazing, and the show is amazing. Nothing for us to get our blood all hot and bothered worthy over, because it is just a TV show, and both women are magnificent and beautiful, as is the whole cast. Even the ones that aren't your favorites are still showing up. The girls are clocking in. Cinematically, it's a beautiful franchise, and I am happy to at least chat with you guys. Team Larsa, yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Bye, Ronnie. You have yourself a good night. We'll talk to you
Thank
next week.
you.
I'm looking forward to a season full of calls like this, Ronnie. We're gonna go head to head every week.
All right, love y'all.
Have a good
Bye.
night. We again, I love having calls like that because it is different perspectives. Everybody has conversations like that, and we're like, "Girl, were we watching the same thing?" But again, flip side of that, people are probably looking at us, and if you go back and read our comments,
yeah,
you read the comments on certain things.
Refreshing.
Look, me and Chase got dragged on Beverly Hills in the comments because they were like, "Were y'all watching the show? Did y'all watch the same show? Y'all just made that up." So I will say in the comments, they're saying before we jet, Larsa was the one that called the meeting. That is my bad. I tune out anything that she's in, so I probably missed that.
Well, Larsa
but-
called Gertie on the phone, and then Gertie
Larsa
said,
called
"Let's
Gertie on the
meet."
phone.
Yeah.
So, so ladies and viewers, thank you guys so much. I know that we ran a little bit ahead, but I love shows like this when our viewers get in and genuinely love interacting with us. So to everybody that showed up in the views, we've got Jeremiah Wade, Samara, Sean S. We got April Morgan. Who else we got? Antonio, Chase, F Camp. Thank you guys so much, MJ, for joining us tonight. Danny, Sierra Content, of course. Love, Shantae. Thank you guys so much. We will be here next week live every single Thursday night at 7:30. I say this every single time that we're on a show. Don't ask me what schedules for other shows are. I cannot remember, but you can like and subscribe with that little bell that's up at the top. So that way you get notified every single time we go live. We've got Married to Medicine that just started, Bell Collective that your fave Chase is hosting. We've got Real Housewives of Miami on Wednesday nights. We've got Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Thank you. We got a stacked roster, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. Ladies, I love y'all's energy tonight. Thank y'all. And to take us out, I'm going to ask Adriana to do what she has to do. And you guys have a phenomenal Thursday night. Y'all have a great night, guys.